Hello, my friends. For me, I talk about something a little bit controversial. It seems like I stay into this kind of stuff, but I want to talk to you about this Haitian immigration problem or thing that we're trying to deal with in the United States of America, especially in Springfield. They're talking about it quite a bit and the problems that have resulted of it, and they're having to make some major adjustments. There's been some pretty strong accusations. I'm glad that Donald Trump and uh, future Vice President Vance talked about it, a little bit in their issues because they brought attention to the subject. It needs to have some attention. From what I've seen so far, a lot of the city officials that are dealing with this problem all across this country don't know anything. They don't know what's going on. They don't have a lot of information. They didn't tell them a lot. That seems to be a practice, with a lot of our federal government, of course, but local governments too. I'm not happy with the city of Russellville's uh, spread of information and letting people know what's going on here. I think it could be improved greatly, and the federal, absolutely. But I want to tell you a little story about something that happened about 40 years ago when I first started working for the electric department. We were out working on one of our city streets here, and had an older man. He was about 50 at the time, but I was in my early 20s, so 50 to me was an old man. And he was a local guy who worked at the courthouse. And let me just put it that way, and I won't tell you who he was, but his house was pretty close to where we were working, and we looked over there at his house. And keep in mind, this has been several years ago, and we looked over at his house, and he had a Hispanic guy working around cutting bushes, cutting his grass, just working around the house. And he walked over there and he told us, he said, well, he said, I just love it when they'll work for me like this. And I said, well, what do you mean? He said, he'll work for almost nothing. Almost don't have to pay him anything at all. And I thought, you rascal, here you're letting a guy, you're drawing good money for what you're doing. You're making a good wage and being paid quite well. But you're willing to underpay this guy that's come to this country. He was Hispanic. This is when Hispanics were first coming into our area. He was Hispanic, and I said, "You're willing." I'm thinking this. I didn't tell him this. I didn't want to tie up with a man. He was a customer, just like all people are customers for the electric department. But he was a customer, and I didn't want to express my opinion at the time. But I'll tell it now. He wanted to underpay this guy and use him as slave labor. And the reason I tell you this story is I'm afraid that might be part of our problem with the Haitians. Is I think there's some good in it. I think that they're trying to allow people to immigrate into this country and live the American dream, and I love that. I love it because, even though I was born here, I would love to be able to come from another country like Mexico, Venezuela, Guatemala, uh, Colombia, any of those countries up there that people want to come here and live this American dream. I love it for them to have the opportunity to do that. But at the same time, I think we have people here that think they're just going to use these people, take advantage of them, charge them outrageous amounts for rent, for food, for cars, and take advantage of their vulnerability. And I don't like that a bit. They will face the Lord for that. I assure you of that. But I'm kind of mixed on it. When we had Hispanics first come into Russellville several years ago, didn't hear any kick up in the country then. The chicken plant brought them in here. They were migrating into this area to work in our chicken plant, and Hispanics have truly helped Russellville. We've had some problems. We've had some issues we've had to deal with. They had a little trouble driving to begin with, and we're hitting poles and driving away, and then all the rest of the customers got to pay for that damage, and we would end up with a wreck of a car and maybe a little bit of compensation for that because they just give the vehicle up. But we had some problems. But Hispanics are just like the rest of us folks. They want the best for their families. They want to live the American dream. We have many that are very prosperous in this city. I'm thankful for them. I have several that are really good friends of mine, and I think the Haitians are going to end up being like that, just like other people from other countries that want to come here. You know, they want to live here because this is a great country, no doubt. But I ask you to keep an open mind about them. I know it's going to be difficult. I know it's going to be some things to overcome, and I know our cultures are terribly just. I shouldn't use the word terrible. They're different. Our cultures are different. You know, they grew up and were raised in things that we don't do, but we have to adjust to one another. You know, and we have to adjust our way of living and the way that we live in this country. So I don't ask you to accept everything, you know, without more information. But as we gather information, may we keep an open mind and realize they were created by God. You know, they're equal to us in God's eyes. Everybody's equal. So look at them and keep your mind open. Be willing to accept change. You know, I know that's tough when we get old. Be willing to accept change. In this video with a quick song, people tend to love my song. I sang A Hole in Your Bucket the other day. I'm not going to do it this time. Where are all the subscribers at? I'm still looking for them. Where are all the subscribers at? Won't you come and subscribe to this channel? God bless you. You have a great day.